do it. Good morning, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us again for another wonderful webinar. Today, our host is Eva Saringala, the Director of Sales of Eclectic Greece, and the subject is, you can tell us, Eva, what are you going to propose us?
The subject is, what are the top, autumn, fall destinations for Greece? So we're going to talk a little bit what you can still do in September, but then September moving forward
to the fall. Huh? Okay, so that's going to be very interesting. I'll let you share your screen and we can start. Meanwhile, everyone, thank you again for joining us. I see some more are registering as we speak. So here we go. Let's see what you want to show us.
Dominic, give me 1 second. I just need to make sure that it clicks through. Okay, so am I ready to go? So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate you taking the time to join. We've seen some people who are really loyal to these webinars in Greece. So thank you so much for your extra, interest about our country. So my name is Eva. Most of you know me by now. I look after the sales division for Eclectic Greece, our inbound luxury division of Kybernetes Travel. So just a little bit of an update of what we were talking about with Dominique earlier on. Greece has been open since the 14th of May. We had a pretty decent year so far, and looking forward to 2022, which is a lot stronger. And I would advise anyone who has clients planning to start planning now, so we get decent availability and rates in the top popular destinations. Greece is doing pretty well in terms of cases and vaccination. Everything has been open. Borders to US and Canada have been open, unfortunately not to Brazil and Mexico, but we're hoping for 2022. The vaccination percentage is at 60% at the moment. There's a lot more restrictions coming into play, especially for the Greek locals, not the travelers as much, because everything is in the open, is outdoors. So you still have an opportunity to encourage your clients to visit in September and October when the season pretty much finishes. So a quick few seconds mentioning a little bit about our company. So we're a family business. We were put together about 47 years ago when we started with servicing the marine industry, which is the shipping industry in Greece. And then we developed with our corporate business, meetings and events, congresses, and of course with the inbound and outbound division. So Eclectic would be the inbound division of Kybernetes Travel. We're around the clock, so you will have access to us 24/7. It's a pretty healthy, financially healthy organization, and one of the few that actually processed all the refunding in one go last year with all the cancellations. Just giving you a little bit more confidence. We're actually in the process of getting certified by TFS, which is an American organization, about being financially healthy and stable. I know a few companies are asking for it at the moment. So far, I was saying to Dominique, we had 250 to 300 bookings with a minimum of 1,200 travelers, and not one single one of them were tested positive on the way back to the US. All of our bookings were coming from the US, which is pretty positive. So that gives you a feeling of safety and security. So moving into the next slide, top line, I'm going to mention what are the key benefits when you're booking with us. So you're either reaching to my team at Eclectic Greece email address or myself directly, and you get an immediate acknowledgement of your request. We're doing a lot of guidance and consultation these days because people need to feel a lot more confident about where they're sending their clients, who's going to be looking after their clients. And then we get back to you with a proposal within a couple of days or a few days. I mean, this year has been extreme. So everything coming last minute. So the 2022, still we're in the season. So the 2022 bookings might need a little bit more time to be put together as a proposal. As we're coming into October, November, though, we're going to have a turnaround of 1 or 2 days maximum You have a line that you can reach us directly, the US number. You're always entitled to 12% commission, and there is a cost breakdown that demonstrates transparency to your clients. Your commission gets paid through Onyx in about a month and a half after the last checkout of the guest. And also we have a quite big portfolio of villa rentals. We have build our own website. So I'm going to share a couple of villa options at the end of this presentation. And also all the ultra luxury servicing. We also set up an ultra luxury division that will be servicing high net worth individuals. So the cutoff point or the threshold, if you like, it would be 40 to 50,000 and above. And it would be serviced from a different team under the same umbrella of Eclectic. Remember, when you book the hotels with us, because this is a major thing, you always get all the concierge services complimentary. So that's another added value to your clients, or the beach clubs that you don't get access normally in Mykonos and Santorini, and all the fine dining restaurants. We can do it for you. And on top of that, you will have a dedicated travel designer from the beginning of the booking to the end of the booking. And also when your clients are in Greece, to be holding your hands, all along, and have them as an emergency contact person. So we're going to do a little bit of the fall destination. So just a quick mention what you can still do in September. Pretty much all the destinations that we're selling in Greece, about 15 different destinations, luxurious destinations, would be able to accommodate travelers until the end of September. Having said that, that would be Mykonos for sure, Paros, Naxos, Milos, Spetses, Hydra, Corfu, Zakynthos, Kefalonia, the mainland of Greece, of course, where it's surrounded by water, so you always have access to the beach, and Crete. Now, a little bit more specifically, when you go into October until beginning of November, you would have lesser options because it's coming to, the temperature is dropping, but we still have some available options, such as we're starting this today, on this webinar with Crete. So you see Crete on the map is on the southern point of Greece, and a little bit further up you will find Santorini. So this is connected with a couple of hours ferry ride, so you don't even have to take a flight back to Athens and connect to Santorini. And then just down south from Athens, of course, needless to say that Athens is an all-year destination. We actually got a booking for Christmas this year, which is quite surprising, but people wanted to explore the history and the mainland of Greece. So Athens would be ideal actually for September, October, and November, because you still have very good temperatures. Athens is not, it's called a really dry climate, so it's perfect. So it's not humid at all. And also you would have short excursions that you can take from Athens. But down south from Athens, when you see my cursor, you will see the mainland of Peloponnese. So Peloponnese is that big chunk of earth down south from Athens that combines a lot of the history and a lot of authenticity. So if we're talking a little bit about more sophisticated travelers, or second-time travelers to Greece, definitely that would be a destination to explore. You can do self-driving, or we can have a driver to take you around. So without wasting any more of this time, I would take you to Crete first. So Crete is the largest island of Greece, and it's definitely one of a very distinct culture and history. All the destinations that I am mentioning to you today, I have personally visited, especially Crete. I have done it twice, this year, and Santorini. Again, Dominica, have been to your wonderful hotel in Santorini, and also Peloponnese, which is a couple of hours drive away from Athens. So you can ask me anything at the end of this webinar. So Crete is very known for the culture and the history as well. It's a self-sufficient island, so they produce pretty much everything there. It's a traditional destination. There's a lot of local customs I mean, a fantastic landscape, but also a lot of local customs. The gastronomy, it's the queen of gastronomy, I would say, for Greece, and it can definitely cover every taste from a honeymoon couple to a multi-generational family trip. No matter how complicated the group might be, it always has something like, to offer and surprise you. You would have a variety of gorges, you would have a variety of mountains, lakes. The seaside is pretty amazing, but also you would have a lot of olive groves. I think I mentioned in previous webinars that Crete is responsible for the 5% production of the global olive oil production. So for such a small island, in the earth, it's got a lot of amazing olive oil. And the best part to explore that would be the east part of Crete. And then, as I said, this is a lot of festivals and local celebrations that are connected to the religion, and they perform all of these dancing with their traditional outfits. So a few minutes away from the Heraklion is the capital of Crete. You will find a few minutes away drive from there, you would find the Miranda's Hotel, a fantastic resort. It can be a family resort. It's ideal for children. The architecture is pretty amazing. You have access to the beach and you have a variety of rooms and also villa product. And then a brand new property next to Miranda's would be Nana Princess. 3 different restaurants, 4 different bars, beachside. You would have about 20 different spa treatment rooms. I think I mentioned that before, Dominique. I lost the plot when I entered these spa facilities. It was just spectacular, and it's a new built hotel. So if you need to be close to Heraklion and then do the Knossos Palace, which is the next slide that I'm presenting, it's the ideal location. And it has, there isn't such a thing as a private beach in Greece, but it's pretty private. Everybody can approach the beach because it's all public, but it's pretty private because there's nothing around there. And then I would say Knossos Palace would be one of the highlights. The Minoan civilization is considered to be the beginning of the Western European civilization as it's known today. So there is the Knossos Palace and the Heraklion tour with the archaeological museum. So the impact that the Minoans, like the ancient Cretans, had into the Western society is huge. And then that kind of first former civilization moved up to Peloponnese, and then to Athens, then to Rome, and then it spread to the rest of the world. And one of my favorite ones that I have done it personally this year, I was actually traveling there with my family, and it was a really nice opportunity to explore the traditional customs and make cheese from scratch. So you're visiting a paddock which is on a really top mountain, top of the mountain. So you have the most spectacular sunset view down south to the valley. And there is the shepherd there, so you're milking the goats and the sheep, and you're making this cheese from scratch. And then at the same time, we are introducing you to the local music instruments. So there was a band there with Cretans playing. So that activity will take you about 3 to 4 hours to complete, and you will have the most delicious Cretan meal that you've ever experienced in your life. So just to say again that whatever you can think of in terms of products in Greece, you can find it in Crete. They grow pretty much everything because the climate is so good, and it encourages and supports this cultivation of pretty much everything. And then you're moving a little bit further to the little village of Aious Nikolaos, which is spectacular, little village. But you have this 5-star property, Dios, which is one of my favorites, pretty secluded. It's called Dios Cove because it's in the cove. Although it's pretty big, if you think about that, it's 300 rooms. It's all spread out, so you never feel the hotel being busy. I have actually been there twice, and I have seen all the flow in breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's 5 different food and beverage outlets, 2 different swimming pool areas, and of course access to the beach, lots of sports activities as well. And one little treasure that just opened its doors last year, it's the island concept. I've also stayed there, so I've stayed in pretty much every hotel in Crete. So it's very unique. You only have 15 rooms. If you're looking for a family trip, would be ideal. So everybody feels that very exclusive. Because everybody has their own swimming pool at the room, but also there is a small bar and restaurant and a pool area where you can gather. There is only one room that doesn't have the water element, so you can be by yourself on the swimming pool the whole day. You also have access to a private. I say private. Nobody can enter from the outside, but somebody can swim, for example, but it's a small private beach but with a lot of olive trees at the back of that. It's quite picturesque, so I definitely recommend that. I would say it's the best design and functionality in terms of rooms that I've come across in Crete. So ask for the island concept. And then Spinalonga, which is a little island or islet just opposite Dios Cove and the island concept. So you have a view of that if you move a little bit further on the left, which is associated with the time of quarantine, which is very familiar to all of us these days. So back in the 50s and before that, it used to accommodate leopards, so people who were suffering from leprosy. Today it's an open air museum and it's considered to become a UNESCO heritage site. Actually, last weekend we had a beautiful wedding that took place in Spinalonga. Normally these touristic attractions do not allow, so we had to ask special permission, from the tourism kind of Ministry of Tourism in Greece, but we managed to achieve so. We can make the impossible possible in Eclectic, and we had a fantastic wedding planner as well to help us out. And then we're moving to the west side of Crete, Chania. I forgot to mention earlier, in order to get to Crete, you need to fly from Athens, which is about a flight time of 35 to 40 minutes maximum, both to Heraklion and Chania. So you have 2 airports, and also if your clients or if your clients are traveling from the middle of the country or even the west coast, they connect to either London, Frankfurt, Munich, Paris, and then connect directly to Crete. So they're saving time, so they don't have to take 3 flights to get to Crete. A fantastic variety of hotels. Dome Zine would be one of my favorites in the area. It's a family resort. You enter the resort and you don't hear or see any children around, so they have fantastic kids facilities. It's very chic and modern. The rooms are super spacious. Needless to say that I've stayed in that one as well. And you've got access to the beach there, so you can ask me anything you like. And it's a couple of kilometers, about 3 kilometers drive from the old town of Chania. Of course, we would have options in the old town of Chania, which has been highly influenced by the Arabs, the Venetians, and the Ottomans, over the centuries. So this year that I visited, I took a food tour around the town of Chania, which was pretty spectacular. So we have tried cheese and olive oil and all the other local products, and it was really nice. But moving around the neighborhoods, you can see on the left-hand side something that it's coming from the Turkish Empire, and some other elements that it's from the Arabic kind of culture, and something else that it was from the Venetian. So all these 3 cultures, it's mingled in every single corner in Chania. A place with a fantastic buzz. There is a lot of dining options and nightlife options as well. There is a lot of universities as well in Chania, so it's attracting a lot of younger crowds, not to the point they all go crazy clubbing. It's really upscale entertainment. And then for the fitter and more active travelers, you will have the opportunity to explore a couple of gorges. The Samaria Gorge would be the highest. We would have another option that is half the distance of the Samaria Gorge, but the Samaria would be the most impressive limestone gorge in Europe, and it finishes by the water. So basically there is no way coming back. You can't backtrack if you like. You really need to be determined and finish it to the end. And then at the end of the trek, you will be picked up by the boat and be brought back to Hania. So these are some spectacular views from the Samaria Gorge. And of course, we wouldn't miss out the olive oil and wine tasting. So the whole Crete is green. So you're driving around from the one side to the other, you would always have orchards and olive groves all along. So you would have a tasting where you will have a tasting, but you can also explore by close proximity the olive groves. And of course, in that activity, we can take you to a quaint winery and finish off with a traditional nice Cretan meal. Everything finishes off with food in Crete. And being Greek, I think I have good standards in terms of food. It is truly the most spectacular place to experience gastronomy in every part of Greece, but Crete in particular. And then you're moving to Rethymno, which is an intermediate stop that the Venetians created back in the days between Hania and Heraklion. Again, you see it looks, it is actually influenced by the Venetians. A very picturesque town. You can drive. It's an hour drive from Hania, or another hour drive from Rethymno. So you can do it as a day trip. And then, as we love food, one of my favorite activities there would be the culinary walk, which is an activity that takes about 4 hours, but it's got 7 different stops. So you will try the local sweets. You will try the local offering for breakfast, and also you will visit this amazing guy who's still alive, and I mentioned that because he's 87 years old. I've seen him on the news the other day, a couple of months ago, promoting Rethymno. So he is the philo master. He's the older philo master in Crete, and he still works and showcases his skill in this tour to all of our clients, and he works along with his son now, who's taking over the business from him. And then we're moving a little bit up. So this piece that you see, this massive land that you see here, the Peloponnese, is just a little bit up north from Crete. So it is connected Peloponnese with the majority of the ancient history of the country. We're starting with the ancient Olympia. It's the birthplace of the Olympic Games. Many people think that we have an Olympic stadium in Athens, and that's where the Olympic Games started from. No, it started in Olympia, which is about 3 hours drive. So with our private guides, you can visit all the sanctuary of the Olympian. You can take a walk through the altars and the temples there, and even run in the first Olympic stadium, in the original Olympic stadium. You also have the opportunity to visit the museums. There is a modern Olympic Games museum and the ancient Olympic Games museum. So very close by to Olympia, you would also find the most spectacular to us here in Eclectic hotel in Greece. It's the Aman Zoids, an Aman property. It sits on the top of a hill, so it's overlooking the water. Access to the water will take about a 5-minute drive. So with the opening of the Amman about 7 years ago, the quality of the services and overall, the offering in the area has been uplifted. So you would have also a variety of other options to explore, such as, of course, you can connect with a helicopter flight from Athens if you're staying in the Amman property. So you don't have to do the drive, which is about 2.5 hours drive from Athens. So you would also have to explore in a day. So if you're located in the Amman property or in any five-star hotel around that area, you could explore the ancient theater of Epiderus, which is the most beautiful and most impressive of all ancient Greek theaters. It comfortably seats about 14,500 spectators. And today the theater is still in use and boasts some of the best acoustics in the modern world. So it's an honor for any actor or actress, like, in Greece or in the world, like, to be able to perform in the ancient theater of Epiderus. And you can combine that with Mykines, as we call it, or Mykine, which was one of the major centers of the Greek civilization back in 1400 before Christ. So you will be able to experience where the kingdom of mythical King Agamemnon was located. And also you can see the burial site of the king. And in the end of the day, so that would be a full day tour, you can explore Nafplio. Nafplio was the first capital of Greece before Athens. It's a small little picturesque town with a lot of pedestrianized streets, like, little narrow alleys, lots of amazing shopping, a lot of tavernas and coffee shops where you can have your coffee by the water. So definitely not to miss out when you're in the area. And Nemea thinks other things to do in the area would be the wine region. So there is 3 major wine regions in Greece. One is Santorini, that we will talk about. The other one is in the northern part of Greece. Possibly the biggest one is in the northern part of Greece, but Nemea is also very popular and very known. They produce amazing, red wine. So there is a variety of wineries that we can arrange for you and your clients when you're in the area. So moving a little bit down south from where we are in Nafplio. So imagine that Athens is here, Nafplio is here, and further down in the southern east part of Peloponnese, you will find the Monovaccia. Monovaccia is a little town or a village, if you like, that the nickname is the Gibraltar of the East. So if you're in the area, you would have to definitely take a stop at a castle. It's like a castle. It's very protected, and this is how they were protecting themselves because of the formation of the earth. I don't know how to put it in other words, from the Arab invasions. So it was very well protected, and that's why they built the town. So the Arab invasions were happening in the 6th century. So you definitely need super comfortable shoes because you have a lot of cobbled streets, but the little town is pedestrianized. You have a lot of quirky, stylish shops that you can buy, things. You have amazing dining options overlooking the Aegean Sea. So there's a plethora of gastronomical treasures to choose from there. And then moving up to Amman, if you feel that you don't want to stay in the hotel for forever and enjoy your amazing swimming pool and looking out to the olive groves in the sea, and you feel a little bit more adventurous, you can take the little water taxi that you see here on the screen. It doesn't cost much, and it takes you to Spetses. It costs about 25 euros, and it takes you within 5 minutes to Spetses. So Spetses is a very, how can I say, aristocratic island. You've got an amazing hotel option, a 5-star option that you see here on the screen. It's called the Posidonio Hotel. And there's a lot of Greeks that they would have their summer homes there because they have easy access from Athens. So you can either drive all the way and take the water taxi to Spetses, or from Piraeus Port, which is located in Athens, you can then jump on the hydrofoil, and then get there in a couple of hours. And then Hydra, also a little picturesque island. They both pedestrianized, but Hydra is even more strict, so nobody moves around with a car, whereas in Spetses, the local residents can bring their car into the island, not the tourists. Hydra attracts a lot of yacht enthusiasts. You see they have a lovely marina. They have amazing shopping. There is a lot of Americans who started picking up like, on Idra, so they're visiting more and more. And there is more hotel options coming up. So these places would be ideal for later in the summer, September and October, as we discussed before. And then our beautiful and amazing Santorini. There hasn't been a trip this year that Santorini wasn't included from, from what I know, as far as I'm concerned. So it is a big highlight. Unless people have already been there, it will never be left out from an itinerary in Greece. So back in the days, Santorini used to be a big round island. And then in 1600 before Christ, the volcano exploded. So the volcano is here and it's called Nea Kameni. And it was split in 3 different parts. So you would have the main part of Santorini. You would have Thirassia, which is an inhabited island you can visit actually. And we have some villa product actually in Thirassia for total exclusivity. And then the volcanoes that you can also visit and check out the crater and the surrounding area. So Santorini, it's pretty impressive. There is a variety of options, either by the caldera. When I say caldera, it's the cliff side. You can see how big the cliff side is. It starts from here all the way down to Merovigli, where our lovely Oma is located, to the main town of Santorini, Thira, going further out to the port, Megalochori and Akrotiri. So all this, which is a good, I don't know, I'm just trying to calculate, 25 kilometers probably, it would have accommodation options. Of course, the most popular would be Merovigli and also Ia village, where majority of the 5-star hotels are located. My favorite would be Merovigli, where Oma is located. There is a lot of talk about Ia, of course, because it's got the dining options, it's got the shopping, and it's the point where it's the location where majority of the people who don't have the privilege to have luxurious accommodation overlooking the cliff or overlooking the sunset would go to take pictures of the sunset. Personally, I would always, and I stayed in Oma when I went in Santorini this year, Dominic, and I had obviously the most amazing time, but it was total serenity and quiet. There was nothing was moving, nothing was disturbing you. And also in Merovigli, I'm going to move into the next. This is the Sunset Hotels, and this is by the Caldera. So I'm going to move into Oma. So this is the highest point of the island. So you would have super duper panoramic views from the whole island. On your right hand side, you would have Ia village, which you can reach either with your car. I have rented a car because I needed to check out of course suppliers and other properties. On your left hand side, you would have Thira. You can even walk if you're a good if you're physically okay, you can even walk to the main village of Merovigli or the main village of Thira. You can also do the hiking to Ia. It's a normal activity that people do. There was a lot of people passing by the hotel, but it's totally if you're looking for some peace and quiet away from the bus, this is the place. And it's also family friendly. So talking about activities, you don't go to Santorini to experience the beach side. Yes, there is water. Yes, it's crystal blue, but it's not the same turquoise waters that you will find in Mykonos, in Paros, in Crete, and in the other places, simply because the volcano has this black pebble or red pebble. So it's not as spectacular. So I would advise you and your clients to focus on activities such as wine tour. Santorini is the oldest vineyard in Europe. So it's a must do in terms of exploring the wineries and do some wine tasting. They produce an amazing white, crispy wine called Assyrtiko, and also really, really nice dessert wine called Vinsanto. Then my other favorite activity, it wouldn't be hiking for sure. I have big trauma taking that hiking tour with another 10 Americans. And guess what? I was the last one to finish that hike. So never again. It was embarrassing, and I was hosting, so it was pretty embarrassing. So my best favorite would be definitely biking. You can do it with normal bikes or with electric bikes. There's a lot of ups and downs, so you can explore the whole of the cliff, the caldera, and of course the more traditional villages which are located at the back of Santorini. And if you are not fortunate enough to be staying in a hotel that you have direct sunset views, which is not the case with Oma, you can have a sunset sailing tour on a private mode or semi-private mode. So it will take you about 4 hours to complete, to enjoy the sunset, just coming into the water in the most magical spot of Santorini. A little bit about our offering in terms of motor yachts and yacht charters. So we have catamaran options and motor yachts. Some of those would be included in our portfolio. In total, we would have 150 boats that we would be able to offer to your clients, from normal catamaran entry level all the way to mega yachts, starting from roughly 17 to 18,000 euros per week. And that would be one of my favorite itineraries. And I always say that, especially if we're talking about the peak months of July and August in the Aegean Sea, which is around here. The Aegean Sea is here, and the Cyclades are here. So Paros, Naxos, Mykonos, Santorini, Milos, Folegandros. So these are the Cycladic islands, and it can get pretty windy. So it's not ideal to have a yacht charter for a week and going like this. So we definitely recommend the Ionian Sea, which will take you through the most spectacular, green islands that you have ever seen. So combining the crystal blue water with the greenery, and you will have an amazing time. And coming back to Athens, of course. And then our villa products. So you can see our website here is eclectic-villas.gr. There is more than 200 villas that are loaded in our website at the moment in our portfolio, in a variety of 19 different locations. So starting from Crete, this is the villa that we had the wedding last week that I was mentioning before. It's an 8-bedroom villa that can accommodate 16 people. So they had the party ceremony there. Elunda Gulf Villas, which is it's villas, but it's a hotel product. So you have the best of both worlds with the most amazing views over Spinalonga. Villa Despina, and then you're moving to Paros. Paros is what I have in my background, one of my favorites villas there. Antiparos, a little island opposite Paros, very cosmopolitan, very up and coming these days. All the Greek Americans, Jeff Bezos, and the Greek Prime Minister were vacationing there this year. It's a favorite for the yacht enthusiasts, as I said earlier, for Hydra. So it would be Hydra, Mykonos, and Antiparos. It's the hot spot this year. And then Naxos, more affordable options with no limitations in terms of minimum stay requirements, whereas Mykonos would be a lot stricter. Paros, Naxos, and Crete are a lot more flexible. And then you go into the more luxurious and upscale villas in Mykonos. But you will find villa product even on the mainland. And you can have up to, I think there is a villa that we can offer up to 40 people. So it feels like a hotel. Of course, you would have concierge services, there's a villa manager around all the time. You can bring in the chefs, whatever time of the week you wish. And then we're finishing off with a couple of beautiful views in Santorini overlooking the sunset. And then on the other side of Crete, the Ionian Sea, the western side of Crete, you would have villa options in Corfu, which the greenery is quite lush, and Zakynthos as well. If you're big nature lovers, I can't recommend more Zakynthos and Corfu. And finishing off with the Villa 20 in Porto Heli, which is part of the Amman Zoe Hotel. Of course, it doesn't connect or has access to the main hotel, but it's being serviced by the hotel and can take up to 20 people. So this is it for today, Dominique.
Thank you very much, Eva. It's always fascinating. I love your webinar. Huh? We learn so much. I can't wait to go to Crete and try the cheese. And there are so many things I want to learn. Huh? So we have a few questions. Dean, you said, please share how the traffic is in Athens these days. Is it easy to get around? How does it take a week? How long does it take on the weekdays to get from downtown hotel to the airport? What hours are the rush hours? Are there still strikes going on in the city to interfere with transportation? That's a lot.
Hi, Dean. Hi. The traffic. I don't know. This is an interesting question because, you know, after
we never had it. Huh? We never had it.
We never had that. Definitely not. No. I think coming to beginning of September, where schools and people are coming back, yes, there would be, you know, a lot more traffic. Now, I wouldn't say it's anything close to the traffic that I have experienced, like, you know, being in the US. Nothing like this, unless you have a different experience. Yes, it might be taking a little bit longer, but nothing extreme. So I would say from the airport to the city center of Athens, let's say the Grand Britann, you know, the new hotel, which is by the parliament where the new Milos hotel will be located, it would probably take 40 to 45 minutes. Now, what hours are the rush hours? What can I say? Well, obviously, like, you know, the time that people go to work between, like, you know, 7:30, 8 o'clock and, like, you know, 10. And then when people finish, like, you know, in the afternoon, like, you know, 3:30 until 5, 6 o'clock. But in the summer, it's very unlikely that we ever have, like, you know, this comment or, like, you know, bad experience. The strikes. I don't know what strikes you're referring to, but, you know, at the moment, there hasn't been one for, like, you know, a few weeks. We had a demonstration the other day for people who are anti-vax. Did I say that correct? They're against, like, you know, the vaccine. I'm not gonna make any further comments, but, you know, we're a very democratic country. But, you know, the strikes can be, I don't know. Sorry, I'm a bit, like, you know, British, like, you know, fed, like, you know, raised. So you know, I can't take all this nonsense by the Greeks when they're, you know, striking and closing the roads and all of that. So I'm sorry. I don't think it creates, like, you know, a major disturbance, like, you know, to the whole thing. Yeah. And our drivers, they will be notified in advance. It's not that, oh, I just feel like I want to go to a demonstration or go on a strike. So the strikes are announced in advance. So our drivers, they would be aware, so they can take, like, an alternative route.
Yeah, we never heard that before, like, say, about the strikes. So it's not like it's preventing anything going well one way or another. Huh? You know where they are.
Yeah. Dominique, don't get me wrong. It can happen. It can happen.
But strikes can say your driver knows how to get around, so the client should not be bothered.
I was back, like, you know, in June. I was in one of the hotels in Athens, and I was doing a live cooking class with a chef, and I wasn't aware. Obviously, I'm not a driver, right? So I parked my car, like, you know, in the parking slot, and then 7 o'clock I went back, like, you know, to pick it up, and there was, like, in a demonstration. So I had to stay in the city center until, like, you know, they kind of, you know, left and dissolved. But it's okay. I wouldn't say it's anything super, like, you know, major to worry about.
Yeah, I think so too. Dean, you're also asking, can you help with social media content to use on Instagram and Facebook for business platform? Huh?
Yes. So Dean, on my follow-up after this webinar, I'm going to send you all the photo library and all the little videos that I have, so you can put up, like, you know, things. So you can always follow on social media Eclectic. So you can grab, like, you know, pictures from there as well. Also, Dean is asking, what are the best cooking classes
to take? On which island?
Okay, so definitely Crete. definitely Crete with the gastronomy that we have explained. And Naxos. Naxos would be one of my favorites, very authentic, great value for money. And the third one would be Santorini. So these 3 islands would be key to take, like, any cooking classes. Okay.
So then after that, so much information. Thank you for a cat. What did we have? Oh, my flow.
There is one anonymous that it says
we have interested in a private catamaran 55 charter for August 2022, 8 passengers, 10 days with great captain and chef. Can itinerary be customized? I've been to Naxos, would like similar islands, Spets, Knossos Palace.
Yeah, the way that we operate, I don't know who that is from, so it would be nice, like, to have that on an email so I can forward it to the team.
Yeah.
So we can definitely look into that. So we first offer you, like, options, and the charter, the main thing for us is to get the charter confirmed. When the charter is confirmed with a specific boat, then the captain would put forward, a variety of itineraries for them to choose from.
So Eva, when you
we can
the follow-up, whoever had the questions, because we can't see it, it's anonymous. So whoever had that question, just answer back to Eva, and then she will give
maybe I can type my email address, Dominique.
Meanwhile, Charissa is asking so much great information here. Thank you. For a catamaran charter, you recommend the Cyclades. Oops, it makes move. Cyclades Island can be very windy. If clients wants to visit this island on a catamaran, are there certain months better or less windy? When would you recommend they go?
Definitely May, June. June is a top month, and then September.
Yeah.
May, June, and September.
Yeah. Pamela, you're asking if the fires have affected any tourist area?
No, they were at the suburbs of Athens. And in Evia Island, which is a very touristic place, but only for Greeks. There's a lot of local residents, but no, in terms of, like, the destinations that we're talking about, no, there hasn't been anything.
Well, and Julie's asking, are those under control now, all those fires?
Yeah. I mean, it was for about 6 to 10 days, and it's all finished. Yes, they're all put out.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So let's see, we see few things on the chat box. I like, Dean, what you said. I had to admit, as a person from Italian roots, but the Greek olive oil is one of the best quality you can buy these days. Much better than from Tuscany.
Bless you. You know what? It's funny. When we went in Crete, I come from the northern part of Greece. The northern part of Greece, it's a little bit colder. And it doesn't encourage the cultivation of olive trees. So I was traveling in Crete with my parents, and my dad was playing, like, cocky to the local guys of how amazing, like, olive oil he's producing. Anyway, it was pretty hilarious because these guys, they have it, like, certified, and they're developing, like, new techniques. There was one guy that he's doing the most amazing, Dean, keep that, he's doing the most amazing cooking class in an organic farm. He used to live abroad, he came back, and he's from Crete originally. I mean, he's, like, very how can I say, it's, like, very sustainable. This farm is, like, super sustainable, and he's got everything. So in the east part of Crete is where you would find the optimum, like, olive oil quality. And he aspires, like, one day, or he really wants to be able to produce, like, the best olive oil, like, in the world. So, and he was, I'm not saying that he was, like, crazy in his head. He was a very down to earth guy. But, if you were to try olive oil anywhere in the world, that would be, like, Crete and Kalamata. Kalamata is in Peloponnese.
Yeah, thank you, Eva. I think we just have to finish soon, and we are a little bit over the half hour normally. Dean, I like to read your comments because you said Eclectic Greece is absolutely the very best in Greece. They always go above and beyond. So thankful we have such a great partner in the region. Thank you.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for writing it, because you could think about it, but it's really nice too. Voilà. Rita, you said thank you. Victoria, thank you, Eva. Amazing presentation. Thank you. Alejandra, please send me the presentation. Yes, because I was late. And Eva is going to be sending everything to everybody.
Sure.
And Nancy is the one who were asking for the private charter, and she's sending you an email. All right.
Fabulous.
Thank you for staying a little bit beyond the 30 minutes. And I know it was fascinating, and we love having Eva. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Have a good day, and we'll see you for more webinar next week. Bye, everyone. And thank you.
Bye. Have a good day. Thanks, Dominique.
Bye-bye.